Hello, everyone. Couple of thoughts on my mind, and I don't know what I'm going to call this video, but it will be right there above me. It could be why I'm a feminist or cream pie surprises rape. But one of those ideas will come out in this video, so just look up there. Why am I talking about this? Well, I thought about talking about feminism for 2 weeks, mostly because I made a video about Jenny McDermott, and then I stayed subscribed to her, and I saw 2 videos of hers that I liked so much that I pushed the like button on YouTube, which is connected to my Twitter. So it tweeted out that I liked them because I like to do that because I like supporting and promoting things that I like on YouTube. And then Jenny McDermott used her Twitter account to favorite those likes, those tweets that I sent out. And I felt like, it's a good thing to let people know where you agree with them, not just where you disagree with them. And I've been wanting to talk about that for a while, because there's a lot of people who get demonized for one or two issues that they've put themselves out there as having an opinion on, and it seems that all of the rest of their thought process gets rejected, even if they built a fan base before that. As soon as they start talking about a different subject, they get demonized by those who agreed with them to begin with. See Thunderfoot. But there was another reason why I wanted to make this video, and it's because recently Zenestrad and before that Laughing Witch put forth that I would be a very good mediator for a debate between Laughing Witch and Sargon of Akkad, to which Laughing Witch has challenged Sargon, and as of this video he has not accepted or acknowledged the challenge. Not that he has to, but yeah, I felt like the reasoning being that I'm not biased in this issue means that I don't have my views out there on this issue, because nobody is completely unbiased regarding feminism versus men's rights activism, So I thought I'd put it out there because I'm not one of those Pyrrhic skeptics who just makes videos criticizing other people in order to stay right all the time. I thought I'd put it out there what my views are, because I think it's healthy to stop, say, every 10th video that you make criticizing everyone else on the internet, to just you stop and you just say something that you may not be able to back up. Put something out there and see how much you get criticized for your opinion. Okay? Have an opinion on something. There are Pyrrhic skeptics out there who trade on the currency of being right. Okay? And they only speak with others who have only said Pyrrhic things and never made any assertions themselves. And they defend themselves this way very well. It's very easy to be right when you don't put out your own opinions. So, fuck that. Fair being fair, I'm going to put out some of my opinions. And firstly, I'm going to say that I consider myself a feminist. Alright? And when I say that, I don't even know that some of the feminists here on YouTube or in think tanks, in safe spaces, on websites and forums on the internet, I don't even know that they'd accept me, in those places. But I consider myself a feminist, in the sense that whenever an idea gets refined in those places, on YouTube chats and in safe space forums, whenever an idea gets so refined that a movement is made, legislation is written out, and it gets put onto a ballot so that actual change is enacted, I am right there voting alongside with them. Okay? The problem is, people associate feminism with the loudest, most radical people that they see on YouTube and in those safe spaces on those websites. And, feminism, generally speaking, is being in favor of women being treated equally. And whenever I see something to vote for that would make that happen, I'm right there voting for it. But see, there's a process of getting people to support something, and part of that process is first refine it into a good idea. And I feel like feminism is associated with a lot of bad ideas right now with many people, so they are casting it aside. And the first experience I had with someone who probably just like me would vote alongside those feminists for good progressive change, the first experience I had with someone like that who distanced themselves from feminism was a video a long time ago by Scented Nectar. And she detailed her experiences with feminism from the 60s, on up. And she was not happy with the radicalism that took it over. And this experience that she put forth was very much like what I experienced with other movements, like the Occupy movement. But that's her experience, not mine. And so it wasn't as compelling to me at the time. And it still isn't, really. I feel like you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and you just have to give some of those ideas time to be worked out. Some of those ideas that I see that still need a lot of refining, okay? We'll start with the crazier ones, like women should be allowed to go topless in every state without restrictions, just as equally as men. And, there are weird causes like that don't really give feminism a good name, because they're kind of shock value style. And, I would just throw into the arena on that one. Go watch a video on Kazoom's channel, and maybe you'll think twice about anyone having exposed nipples, because Kazoom videos, let's just take away the right from men, and then we'll all be equal, and we'll all be wearing shirts, because Kazoom videos. And that's where I think the level of argumentation is at with a lot of feminist issues. Take the whole wage gap thing. And I don't need to preface wage gap with supposed wage gap or perceived wage gap or the feminist theory of wage gap. I can look at the available evidence, and I can at least see that it does exist, and I feel like there's one line in the sand where if you have looked at the evidence and you say that, yeah, there is a wage gap, you could probably consider yourself to be a feminist just by virtue of being able to see, hey, something's going on here. And I don't have to buy into all of the more extreme numbers, like what percentage of a man's pay a woman makes and stuff like that. And I can also acknowledge that there are other arguments against doing anything about it, such as my own personal experience of being a single man and being taxed for most of my life at a higher tax rate than married couples, and yet I get jack shit zero as far as social services helping me out with my life. And there are many programs that are available to married women, married couples, and single women that me as a single man, I'm basically paying for, you know, and part of that wage gap needs to be weighed against, well, you know, I am neither a woman, an infant, or a child, and there is a program for basically every other person but me that I'm paying for, you know, and there are many things like this. I mean, I could go around the capital of Denver, a couple miles down the road there, and look at all the homeless men. You know, look at the shelter that's a couple blocks down the road, and the the mile-long line of men trying to get into that shelter. You know, and I'm saying 90% men. You don't believe me? Ask Cult of Dusty to go walk his ass down there, and it's a hop, skip, and a jump for him, and just film it for you. You know, he can put his Google glasses on for it. You know, maybe he can do an expose of trying to actually get into the Denver mission. You know, but do you see women there? No. There's actually programs here in my state whereby each county has their own sheriffs, and they have vouchers for hotels, especially in the wintertime, where if it's a woman or a child who's homeless, they give them a voucher for a hotel. If it's a man, fuck you. You know, where does that money come from? My tax money. You know, so there's all sorts of weird you could talk about alimony and all sorts of other modifiers to this argument, but see, the reason why I'm saying it's not refined is no plan of action that makes sense and should be put on a ballot has come about. Nothing that fairly says that a man should be restricted in his ability to earn has come about and gotten enough support to even, have a legislator consider it, because it's still in that planning phase. And while it's there, I don't have to associate myself with, the more radical positions on that to call myself a feminist. I'm waiting for something that will fairly close that gap for women in a way where everything's equitable. And when it shows up on a ballot and I can check that box, or I can vote for that politician who's just going to vote for it for me, I will be right there with them. Okay? So I'm a feminist, but not a radical feminist. And I've said all that, but now I'm going to put out there one of the radical feminist views that I hold to. And it's not as radical as some, but I feel like it's enough that somebody is going to comment and say that I'm a dumbass in the comment section. Alright, so here we go. There are many feminists who believe that porn is bad because it always objectifies women and we should do away with porn. But there's one type of porn in particular that I am shocked and appalled exists. Okay? To me, it's akin to snuff films that are real and based on real murders. And that type of porn is called cream pie surprise. Okay? And I believe that Cream Pie Surprise is rape theater. Now, what happens in a Cream Pie Surprise video is a man and a woman are having ostensibly consensual sex up until that point where the man was supposed to pull out and do the money shot, you know, squirt all over her boobs or all over her face, you know. But instead, he goes against the plan that was hatched before they started, and he decides to ejaculate inside of her without a condom. And that's the surprise portion, you know. To me, just like when most people would agree that if a woman says no in the middle of intercourse, then you must stop or you are a rapist, if a man finishes the act with something that is not consensual, because she didn't want to be ejaculated inside, she just wanted to get him up to that point, and then do something else when it went off, to me, that is rape. When this is put forth on many porn websites, okay, start with Pornhub, for instance, type in Cream Pie Surprise and forward to the end of them, you'll see that act being happening. There's actual websites dedicated to this fetish, but also just go to Pornhub and then go to all of their affiliates on the bar on the top, and you'll see all of those websites have Cream Pie Surprise videos. And some of them have storylines that you can tell where it is just rape theater. It is not just rape that was caught as far as like an outtake or something. It was a pre-planned theater to make it look like it was not pre-planned. Kind of like the porn version of professional wrestling there. But I feel like this porn being out there in such quantities, just readily available to the internet, especially in an age where teenage boys, they probably get laptops for Christmas and take them to their bedrooms, and they're not seen until they graduate high school because they're jacking off 3 times a day. They're seeing this porn out there, this particular style of porn, and they're learning, hey, this is what I need to say to get a girl all the way to that point. You know, I'm just going to stick the tip in, you know, and then take them to the point of an actual a rape, where it's in such a gray area in their minds that they haven't done anything wrong, and they're just right on the edge of being edgy and cool with sex. But no, it's rape, you know. I feel like it instructs men, not just boys, men in general, that if a woman was consensual for 99% of the time, then it is okay to finish that sex act with something that she did not want. And I think something should be done about it. I do think that something should be laws against it, because it is rape. Cream Pie Surprise is rape theater. And I know that there are some who would say that this goes against anything anti-censorship that you've ever said before, and you're a hypocrite. But, you know, there are instances where you need to look at whether or not you want to protect some vague sense of freedom of speech and freedom of expression when there is a real threat to our culture coming from something like that. And I would say that among all the porn arguments, for getting rid of porn for objectifying women, that one genre to me, I'm sold on. I'm on board. Let's do something about it. When that law comes by that says make cream pie surprise videos illegal, I will check that fucking box, because I do think that it will, if left as it is, it will teach generations of men to trick women into something where they have no defense for, that last bit of sex being unconsensual, and there will be more rape because we didn't do something about it. I welcome all of your comments. Even the hate mail. Hate mail's good.